Crypto seeing some green after Feds increase interest rates for the fourth time in 2022. The question is on all of our minds, is it gonna last? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you so much for cruising by. Hit the like, hit the subscribe on the way in. If you're in that live stream right now, I appreciate you. This is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. And I mean, that's a crazy weekly candle right there, especially with all of the technical analysis we've been doing in regards to Bitcoin as it's trading within this 200-week moving average and the macro 786. So we're going to dig into that, but y'all know the news in taking the benchmark overnight borrowing rate up to a range of 2.25% to 2.5%. The moves in June and July represent the most stringent consecutive moves since the Fed began using the overnight funds rate as the principal tool of monetary policy in the early 1990s. I just did a Bitcoin video a little bit ago, and I just want to re-echo this. This is from another article. By raising interest rates another 0.75% today, and now that it's actually happened, this is what happened. The Fed will bring rates to a range of 2.25% to 2.5%, or a neutral level, estimated to be the point at which any further rate increases would be restrictive to economic activity. What in the world? Neutral level. It's like, we're going to look at the short-term charts in this video, but how easy to forget that after all of this pain that we've been through, that markets have been through, we're just getting to neutral level, right? So as they increase rates, we're going to reach a restrictive level. Things are going to really, in terms of the economy feeling some pain, right? Things are really going to probably get a little tough in terms of the markets. And that's where I think the rally could end. Everybody, if you're in the live stream, please hit that like for me as we get this puppy going. I appreciate you. And let's just look at the Bitcoin chart to really kick things off. So Bitcoin on the weekly, this is going to be the most interesting thing. 4 days, 5 hours left. And for me, we're going to zoom in on the charts. But for me, this is literally the biggest thing I'm watching over the next 4 to 5 days. And if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you know it is because this range that we're in on the weekly after this bear market so far, falling into between the 786, a macro 786, that's a Fibonacci pullback area. It's the last bear market low to bull market high and back down. This is a 786 line, 618 line up here. We're in the range. But trading between that 786 and the 200-week moving average is just what Bitcoin has been doing in previous cycles. Here's the 2018 cycle, bear market low, and we're here once again. Now, you can see Bitcoin exited the bear market, really, when it broke back above the macro 786. Now, the inverse of what's going on back here in 2018 is what's happening now, meaning we're above the 786, but we're below the 200-week moving average. So I'm really curious to see what happens if Bitcoin breaks out of this range. And that is what I'm talking about, the 786 and 200-week moving average. So will Bitcoin close the weekly candle above the 200-week moving average that you see there in red? I mean, that's the biggest thing on my mind. And this is the biggest thing that I'll be watching, because that will be diverging away from really what Bitcoin has done in previous bear cycles. And this is the same thing is true for 2015 bear cycle as well. It consolidated between these two areas. And the other thing is it would be, in my view, probably it's quicker, right? Because look, the last Bitcoin bear market from a date range perspective lasted from that swing low to where it broke back above that yellow line, the 786, was 133 days or so. Right now, if you look at Bitcoin from this swing low, we're only 42 days into this bear market low. So I think we still have a bit of ways to go, but the biggest indicator that will be interesting diverging from itself would be if the weekly candle closes for Bitcoin. And the case is there. Bitcoin right now, as I do this video, you can see the weekly candle. Let me just zoom in on this. The weekly candle above the 200. So I'm extremely interested. We tracked last week when Bitcoin was above it. We asked the question, how's it going to close? And look what the weekly did last week. It closed below the 200-week moving average. We're in a similar situation here, but it is so, I mean, there's there is such a fine line between where Bitcoin is. It is barely there, right? So there's like no separation right now. So that is what I'm watching on the weekly. Now on the daily, and this could be what plays into, this could be what ties into Bitcoin really kind of breaking away and diverging from what happened in previous bear market lows. That is what's happening here. This 20-day moving average in green getting ready to cross above the blue line, the 50-day moving average. That's a big deal. No matter what happens in terms of this daily candle, what we're going to be looking at, and it's hard to see where the two are right now, but we're going to continue to track on this daily chart on a daily basis if Bitcoin can hold support, even if there's throwbacks to this confluent area as the two meet, as these two moving averages meet. And that will be extremely telling. Right now, we're looking at around $21,500 to $21,700, a big area to watch for support for Bitcoin. So we're going to continue tracking that. Now, zooming out on this daily chart, this is what I talked about in today's earlier video. It's kind of this breakout rally target for Bitcoin. It will be meeting this 200-day moving average. And right now, currently at $34,000. This does not mean that the target I'm saying for Bitcoin is $34,000. We know as Bitcoin trades, as Bitcoin maybe even tests these moving averages like we just talked about, if it's going to continue up, if traditional markets are going to continue up, this 200 moving average during the time of Bitcoin seeing higher highs and higher lows on the short term will come down, right? It will meet Bitcoin. So the target to the upside in a bullish environment for me is $28,000 to $30,000 for Bitcoin. Going over real quick, because I wanted to mention this S&P 500, you can just see the green candle getting greener, getting more green. Pretty epic to see that amidst the news that we're getting. And really, everybody, I think what it is, and I think many people have identified this and talked about this, markets have already absorbed this. We've been talking about the same thing for months. We've been anticipating the same thing for months in terms of these interest rate increases. We know they're coming. We know there's going to be more. So from just a simply mental and kind of a sentiment perspective, guess what? It's like it's baked in right now, and markets are just comfortable with what's going on now. But when these headlines get darker, right? Everybody's anticipated these headlines already. This isn't like a crazy headline. Fed hikes interest rates by 0.75 percentage points for a second. Everybody knew that was going to be the headline, right? What's going to get, I think what might trigger the next capitulation for traditional markets and crypto is going to be when this starts getting worked in. When we're entering a restrictive area in terms of economic activity, because we're going past the neutral level in terms of these interest rates, and we're getting close to there, right? A couple more months, and the headlines could be completely different, and these charts will likely be different as well. But on the S&P 500, I think it's important to note whether we're watching Bitcoin, Cardano, any altcoins, it doesn't matter. This is what moves the markets. Bitcoin doesn't move altcoins. I know that's generally these days not very popular opinion, but I don't think we live in that world anymore, everybody. It's traditional markets are moving crypto. And when traditional markets are moving in an upside, in a bull market type of vibe, crypto markets are. And these days, altcoins are pretty much outperforming Bitcoin for the most part, to the upside and to the downside. But going to the S&P 500, I just think this is an important thing to track on the short term. It's that last lower high in between these rate hikes, in between May and June, to the swing low, which was the June swing low where they raised interest rates right after. And here we are, S&P 500 at an interesting lower high area once again, as these interest rates are being raised, right? So previously, interest rates were raised in May, it fell. Raised in June, it fell. Just a couple days, but it still fell. Now here we are, it's raised at a Fibonacci resistance area. Is it going to fall? And if it falls, what happens here at the 20-day moving average around 3,800, 50-day moving average around 3,900? That's what I'm watching, because it's probably boring, especially because this is a crypto YouTube channel, and it's probably boring to maybe for some of you to see traditional market charts. But at the end of the day, everybody, this is what's moving crypto markets. And if you agree with that, hit that like button for me as we cruise over to Cardano. And if you're an ADA holder, if you're in the chats, let me know. I'm checking it. What is up, Netherlands? I appreciate you cruising through. Look at this. Scotland, Netherlands. Insane. Look at this. Poland. Love it. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's so cool, man. We're just chilling on a live stream from all across the world. And of course, I know we've got ADA gang out there. There's a lot of things Cardano I really want to talk about. Not going to go so much in depth in this video, but we're going to definitely look at the charts in this video because this is ADA on the daily. ADA reacting similar to crypto markets, right? Cardano, this green candle isn't happening because Bitcoin's moving. Real quick, Chainlink, this green candle isn't happening because Bitcoin is moving, right? This is happening to altcoins because traditional markets. What's happening there? It's happening because the news was released. And I mentioned this, I think, was it yesterday or something? I mentioned, and this is a big reminder, crypto markets, they were literally, it's all day today, just doing nothing. News comes out, even though it was really not even news, everybody knew it was going to happen. News comes out, and then boom. We're getting a little move. We're getting some movement. I'm not saying this is like a huge rally, a huge pump. We're going to all-time highs. That's not what this is. But we're getting some movement. And it's just like, it's a sigh of relief. Like crypto markets, crypto holders, they really are. I mentioned this the other day. They seem more emotional than traditional equity markets. They really do. If there's the littlest bit of uncertainty or just waiting for some pending announcement, pending news, even if you know what it's going to be, it's like crypto markets are tense. And the indecisiveness of it all, the uncertainty of it all is elevated. And it's just different. It's a different vibe. And that's because I think crypto markets just can't handle it. They can't handle the uncertainty because of the volatility that we experience all of the time, every day, every cycle. I think traders are just, they're just anticipating the worst at all times. And so that's why I think it took a little bit, but we're getting a little move. So in regards to ADA, this is why I wanted to talk about it, because when we're looking at Cardano right now on these charts, this is a big deal. And I'll probably cover this more in depth in a different video, but we've been tracking these lower highs at these moving averages since the bear market started, since all-time highs, really, and we started falling. Cardano started falling. It's just the same old story. Resistance at moving averages, failing support at moving averages, and in blue is the 50-day. In green is the 20-day. And so we've just been waiting for Cardano to finally be in an environment where it's getting back above both, but seeing support. And so most recently, once again, and this is why I've been saying this is like such a critical time for Cardano, once again, we're there, like we're briefly above the moving averages and we're waiting for support. And even just the other day, a couple of days ago, Cardano fell below the red candle, fell below the 50-day moving average. And then yesterday, we fell below the 20-day moving average. And I don't know how today was going to end, but the next video was really going to have to, and it still might be depending on how this daily candle closes, but the next video that I was going to do for Cardano ADA was really leaning towards, man, the resistance at the moving averages, Cardano's failing here again, right? And that's in relation also to what's going on. It's in rhythm with what's going on in other cryptos. I mean, crypto market cap as a whole has just been falling, right? But we're waiting for this bullish confirmation, not only from a macro perspective in crypto markets, but on the individual Cardano chart. Now, here we are, ADA on this daily, getting a little bit of a move to the upside. I mean, from the swing low on the daily to where it is right now, we're talking like a 7 to 8% move for ADA. That's a pretty big deal. So we're going to continue tracking how this daily candle closes. This is probably the biggest thing with Cardano that I'll be tracking tonight, how this candle closes. Going over to the 6-hour chart, you can just see We failed. Cardano failed at this lower high for the breakout on the 6 hour. But once again, getting a bounce off the apex of the triangle. So it's just been trickling down this upper trend line. We've been tracking the support there. Once again, the support held. Don't know if it will hold the next time. But here we are right now approaching on the 6 hour, the zoomed in chart, a swing high to swing low, approaching a lower high resistance area, the 618 around 50 cents, 786 around 52 cents. So in the very short term, this is the area on this move that I'll be watching for Cardano. Can Cardano break above this area, the 618 to the 786? And really it's 50 to 52 cents. That's what I'm watching on the short term. But in reality, it's very interesting to see the crypto markets react to this news with these green candles. What will be more interesting to see is if it lasts. What would be more interesting to see is how does the Cardano daily candle close? Does it close above the 50-day moving average, currently around 48 cents? That is a big deal for Cardano. And then same with Bitcoin daily candle. Can Bitcoin close above its own 50-day, 20-day moving average? So all the way down here around 21,700 or so. But to the downside for Bitcoin, just to give you an idea of what type of room it has, around 45% to the downside. And then if we're looking at ADA, to the downside, to that 50-day moving average, only around 2 to 3%. 20-day moving average, around 5%. So a little bit of space for these two to continue consolidating, maybe put in a short-term higher low before continuation. But we'll continue tracking this on the charts. Everybody, I appreciate you cruising through on this live stream. I see some people in the charts. This bear market is a blessing in disguise for ADA and many other projects in development. Everybody, it's the key. In the bull market, I think I was like maxing at like 5,000 live stream viewers. 5,000 live stream viewers, everybody. Right now, there's around 600 people in here in this bear market. And it should be flipped. It should be opposite. We're in this bear market and it is a blessing in disguise. People should be flocking to crypto. I'm not saying it won't go lower. It very well could. Many people think it will. But this is a blessing in disguise. The bear markets, they always are. And looking back, everybody's just like, man, what was I doing? Why did I leave the space? Why, right? But here we are. And we got around 600 of you in the chats. Look at this, from all over too. Norway. What's up, Craig? So Dan, is anything known about Vasil hard fork release? There's not, unless something happened last hour. I don't think it's been confirmed an exact date. You know, there's still some bugs being worked out. This is a very big technical upgrade, everybody. It's an incredibly big technical upgrade. And it's like, and I'm going to do a video on this because from a building perspective, and you can apply this to startups building outside of crypto, but from a technology software perspective, when you're doing something like this and you want it to work, you want it to be secure, you want it to do what it needs to do, then if there's a bug that just needs some testing, it's like, okay, it's going to be put on hold a little bit, right? So it was already put on hold a little bit to work some things out to make sure the Vasil hard fork goes as planned. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the coming week or so. I think there will be an update probably tomorrow, but even if it's a week, 2 weeks, who knows what epic this is going to take place. But no matter what, the virtue signalers that are just like acting like Cardano is a failure because of some delay, it's quite hilarious. And I really want to I want to do a video talking about it because it's so off in terms of how this technology works. It's so off in terms of how especially a decentralized, secure, scalable blockchain works, right? when you're deploying something like this and you're creating these upgrades and sending them live, you just want to have it right? And that's kind of what Cardano does. Sometimes it misses the mark a little bit in terms of the exact date. I don't know why everybody needs an exact date all the time in terms of these things, but it's an upgrade. It's not like this is like Cardano moving to a proof of stake mechanism and it's this huge thing that keeps getting put off. Does that sound familiar? Since like 2019 or so, Ethereum has had that issue. It's not that big of a deal. This is going to make Cardano better. It's going to make it so much easier for devs to deploy using Plutus and Plutus, which is the language for Cardano smart contracts. This is going to be a big deal, and it's going to be a really big deal for Cardano users as well. So I'm gonna cover the Vasil hard fork and what's going on with Vasil in a different video. I'm not gonna talk about it here, but I just think it's funny when people that aren't even technologists just comment about how much of a failure something like Cardano could be. And it doesn't even just apply to Cardano, it could be anything. But it's like, how is it that somebody that doesn't even understand the technology can comment something like that? It doesn't make sense to me. Building the bear is a blessing, and those of us developing will be better for it. Agreed, Eric. 100% agreed. Thanks for the update, says FBA. Thank you for watching. Yes, sir. Everybody, I appreciate you. Thanks for cruising by this live stream. Let's continue tracking it on your way out. Hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe. Let's continue watching these markets. ADA getting very close to 50 cents as I log off here. Bitcoin getting very close to 23,000. Look at this. As I'm doing this live stream, it's and by the way, and I know I was about to log off, but this daily candle, it's engulfing what transpired here. I don't know how this will close. There's still 4.5 hours left of the daily candle, which is probably the biggest concern, but it's literally getting ready to engulf all of this. All of these lower lows and lower highs that Bitcoin saw trickling down against the 50-day moving average. So, man, if Bitcoin can put in even a high above the highest close, right around 23,400, if Bitcoin can close above there, that's a powerful move for Bitcoin, especially on such a day like this, which is Fed's raising interest rates. So this would be, if it can close above there, like an 11% move for Bitcoin to make that happen. That would be a huge deal. Huge deal if Bitcoin can do that. However, time remains. There's still 4.5 hours left. And Cardano, same kind of chart, really, if you look at this. A little bit more separation from the 50-day when it was kind of seeing these candles above it, right? So a little bit more of a ways to go, but even if ADA can close above 52 cents, the highest close, that would be a huge deal for Cardano because we're still tracking the setup for the 20-day moving average to cross above the 50-day moving average in blue. It's a big deal. I haven't even looked at a weekly chart. I don't even care, everybody. I was going to log off, but I'm on these new talking points now. So I want to check out the weekly chart for Cardano. And if you're new here, hit the like button because we're hanging out. We're chilling. So Cardano, I wanted to look at the weekly because it's like we've been tracking this MACD. We've been cautiously tracking it because we got our feelings hurt as ADA holders back here in March. We had the MACD crossing that signal line, this hints of upward momentum. And then it was, if we go to the weekly chart, it was the 20-week moving average that just smacked ADA down. Look at this. So here's the move. ADA in March, just seeing resistance at the 20-week moving average. So we're getting another MACD cross, right? We're getting another MACD cross right now. Even the stock RSI, this quicker moving momentum oscillator, starting to see this uptick. We had the same type of deal back here in March. What we're waiting for is to see if ADA can make that powerful move to like the 68 cents, 70 cent area where the 20-week moving average is. It's that green line. can ADA make the move to that area? That's the biggest thing, especially with Vasil hard fork. You know, I have this green box kind of letting us down in terms of accuracy, because who knows exactly the date when this will happen, but we're towards the end. We're coming towards the finish line in terms of the Vasil hard fork. So could a pump be on its way and lead ADA to the 20-week moving average? It's a big move in the 70-cent range for ADA. We'd be looking at like a 30 to 40% move. Would that lead to a long-term bullish confirmation, ADA closing above and breaking out? I really don't know. It would depend how big of a rally traditional markets really give us. I personally, and this is my opinion, this is data, this is what I'm thinking, I personally think there's going to be a continued rally. I did a Bitcoin video earlier today talking about that, but after that rally, I think there's going to be a nice big crash back down. I think that's going to be the case going into fall, as these interest rate hikes continue in more restrictive environment and people start getting really worried about the economy. Maybe inflation starts cooling down at the same time, and that kind of counteracts the news. But Cardano will be a very volatile roller coaster when all of that is happening. So, so sad that 70 cents is now considered big. I mean, I don't think so. I really don't think so, Kane, because I 100% understand your point, but check this out. And this is all you ever have to do. This is all I would ever do when I come to thoughts like that or comments like that, is I zoom out. And it wasn't long ago where ADA was at 2-3 cents and had no technical upgrades, or we didn't even have we didn't have the staking mechanism yet, right? Now we're in an environment where we have these things, and not only that, we're getting scalability, Hydra around the corner, right? I tweeted earlier, like, what did I tweet earlier? I said something about 1 million. I said Cardano going to be tough to ignore when it's doing 1 million transactions per second, right? So we have all this good stuff going on with Cardano after just being oversold in this bear market. Maybe it does go lower, but 70 cents is like a short-term, mid-term type of target to the upside, and it's part of the journey to $7, in my opinion. It's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of how you look at this. Because guess what? It wasn't long ago I was doing videos in February 2021 on Cardano, and we were talking about 50 cent ADA, right? Breaking it and heading towards 70 cents. Well, now, after being oversold, we're kind of in a similar area, and we're in this long-term trajectory of growth for crypto markets in general, and this is literally the path to success. It's grueling. It really is. It feels like you're taking a step backwards sometimes. It's just how life is. If you want something great, if you want to win, it's usually not easy. But I'll say this, your sentiment about 70 cents, it's kind of a bummer that 70 cents is considered like a breakout. Well, there was a time, and the same vibe was true, and I 100% understand what you're saying. But when I was covering the last Bitcoin bear market, all down here, and it was like $3,500, and we're talking about a $5,500, right? Like at a 50-week moving average, that was considered a big breakout. That's kind of depressing to think about, considering we just went through all of this up to 20,000 and all the way back down, and now we're talking about, a $5,000 breakout for Bitcoin. It's the same thing. But if we have a longer term vision, we get rid of this thought that, oh man, this is all I have to look forward to, a mini rally, right? A mini rally in the short term. No, we start saying, okay, well, there's a lot more to potentially, I should say, look forward to, because there are no guarantees in this space. And look what happened with Bitcoin. It went up to 70,000. So the same thing is true. Yeah, it's a short-term target of 70 cents before maybe even crashing back down to like 30 cents. Who knows if that happens, right? But that's potentially in play. But all of this to be said, even if it does do that and it crashes back down all the way to 30 cents, it's the longer term. It's what happens in the long term, and where does Cardano go? Where is it headed? What is in store? And I think with all of these technical upgrades, I think with smart contracts now online, right? dApps deploying, dApps getting better, builders getting better at building, the network becoming more secure, the network becoming more decentralized. Man, this party's just getting started, and it's just getting started in this oversold environment. So again, it's all how you look at these markets. It's a matter of perspective of how you look at these markets. So I 100%, I'm not throwing you under the bus here because I get what you're saying. It's sad that 70 cents is now considered big. I enjoyed $3 ADA for, even though it didn't last very long. I enjoyed it. So I'm on your boat, you know, like I enjoy the bull market highs. I enjoy the all-time highs, especially as a YouTube content creator. You know, it is more fun. I love each and every one of you. 747 people in here. But yo, when there is 5,000 people in here in a bull market, as we're breaking all-time highs, the adrenaline is flowing a little bit more. It's a little bit more exciting. And it just really is. So, went on a little tangent, but man, we are just so stinking early. Go to CoinMarketCap. Check it out. 1 trillion. We're back above 1 trillion. I thought we were, I don't know why it's not loading. We're back above 1 trillion. Cardano sitting at $16 billion market cap. It's crazy to me to see that. 16 billion. I often mention Ethereum has already traded at 500 billion, half a trillion. I think Cardano is well on its way there in the macro, in the long term. And as I'm talking about this, look at this. 50 cents. Look at that candle. If you're an ADA holder, hit the like. Let's get hype about those 1 cent moves, everybody. There's people that hate me when I'm just like speak positively. We get a green candle. People don't like the positive. A lot of people like to be pessimists. But hit that like button if you're an ADA holder. We're approaching the short-term lower high resistance. Again, that is the swing low that we just saw July 24th to swing, or swing high July 24th to swing low, and back to resistance right here again. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, 50 cents to 52 cents. So right now is basically where we can look for the short-term resistance for ADA. We've already gotten the lower high resistance at the previous same Fibonacci, which is swing high to swing low and up. Now we're here at this new one, swing high to swing low and up at resistance. Will it break? Time for me to log off of this live stream, everybody. But it's so hard logging off when I'm in a live stream and we got things moving. We got things moving a little bit. I love this. Mother of Red soon. After this rally, I agree. I think there's going to be a nice big. Love you too, Greg. Love you too, pal. Dan, give us your absolute best guess. Bet the house. How much will ADA be, in your opinion, by the top of the next real bull run? I've been actually wanting to. I have a number in my head. I'm not going to say it because I want to actually chart it. I want to do what I did with my Bitcoin charts in this long-term macro view. I charted this back in 2018, and it played out extremely well. From 2018 when I charted it. It wasn't exact. We didn't hit 90,000, but we got close. And now we're cruising back down to the 786. I want to do something similar for Cardano now that I've gathered enough Cardano data on the Cardano zoomed out charts. And now that I have a way better fundamental understanding of the technology and what's ahead. But I want to answer your question, but I'd rather do so with a little bit better data. And I will do it. I'll do a video on it. So I hope that's cool with you. Something. Hey, what's up, man? Hit that like button. I appreciate it. I think $15 for the next bull run. I'm slightly lower than that. I'll say that much for ADA. Slightly lower than that for next bull run. Always take profit. 100% agree. All right, everybody. I got to bounce. I got to balance. I did not want this to be such a long live stream. We know what we're tracking on these charts. Let's continue to see what happens. Bitcoin approaching 23,000. Let's see what type of daily close above that 50-day moving average. Same thing on ADA. If I can go to I don't have a daily chart, but same thing on ADA on the daily. It's a mess. I know my chart is a mess, but 50-day moving average right on 48 cents. Will ADA close above it? That is the big question. I might even do another Cardano video later because there's a lot to talk about. So I'm done. I'm done, everybody. Hit the like, hit that subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have an awesome, awesome day. Enjoy the green candles as they last. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.